Hello Tech Pros, episode 235.
It's all about what you're doing when no one's watching. It's all about what are you doing behind the scenes.
Welcome to the podcast where every day of the week we publish another conversation exploring the anxieties, challenges, and opportunities that technical professionals and entrepreneurs face when building their career, building their products, and building their business. There are a lot of shows that focus on the nuts and bolts of technology, but this podcast is not one of them. This is about the people behind the tech industry and the mindsets and skill sets they developed that led to their success. You can learn more about this podcast and our guests at hellotechpros.com, and I invite you to read my personal story of overcoming social anxiety at anxietynerd.com. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Korey McMahon. Happy Saturday, Korey.
Happy Saturday, Chad. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Are you ready to hustle?
Always am.
Always. Awesome. Prior to earning a bachelor's degree from Colorado State University, Korey McMahon competed as a professional freestyle snowboarder. Dude, that is so awesome. In 2003, he ranked second in the nation by the United States American Snowboard Association. And after his retirement from competitive snowboarding, Korey sprung face first into the world of marketing with the notorious mogul Mountain Dew. Collaborating and perfecting his successes soon led him to a fleet of awards and recognition. Ready to take on the world, Korey envisioned something much greater on the horizon. He set out to create something larger than life, and in 2009, McMahon Marketing was born. Just as he imagined, his team rapidly grew into what has become a highly recognized full-service marketing agency. And recently, his book, Bottom Line Marketing: Concepts to Advance Your Brand and Profits, is for sale online on Amazon.com, iTunes, Book Locker, and everywhere else where you can buy books. Korey, how did you wind up as a professional snowboarder? What's the training regimen like as a young person trying to get into that sport?
You know, I fell in love with snowboarding. I grew up in Northeast Iowa, and I'm dating myself here a little bit, Chad, but back in the day, snowboarders really weren't very welcomed on the mountains. It was a very new, young sport, and I just fell in love with it. It had so much creativity and freedom, and it was a very extreme thing. It was new and young, and a lot of energy was in the sport. So, fell in love with the sport. I am the most competitive person on the planet. Nice. So I day in and day out just would practice my sport. And I had a dream. I have big dreams, and I think big. And my dream when I was a child was to become a professional snowboarder from Iowa. And so many people said, you can't do that. It's never been done. And that fuels me so much. With my competitive nature. And when you tell me I can't do something, I will go to all lengths to prove you wrong. Ended up having some success. Had sponsors like Red Bull energy drink is a common one people have heard. And so I got to travel the nation and ended up dropping out of school to pursue my dream. So dropped out of school and moved to Northern California. And day in and day out, you talk about waking up early in the morning. My trainer, Timothy Flynn, would get me up early in the morning, would work out, we'd hit the mountain all day long, work out again afterwards. It was brutal. It was a constant grind, a constant hustle. But it was such a fun journey, just with the passion that I had for the sport. It was absolute best journey. And after 15 years, Chad, accomplished my dream, got to compete with some of the greatest and some of the best that were my childhood idols. And so it was a dream come true, had an absolute blast. But you talk about a 15-year process to accomplish a goal to prove those haters wrong.
I love that. I love that. And I actually joked with one of my buddies on a prior episode of this podcast where I said, I really am lacking the haters. And I think I need some haters in order to fuel my motivation to the next level. Like, I have all these supporters and it's so amazing. And I feel like I'm getting hugged every single day by people all over the internet's going, hey, great job. I love that episode. Thanks for sharing, whatnot. But I haven't had anybody said, no, dude, you suck. This is horrible. You cannot do this. You cannot be a podcaster. You cannot be successful. And I don't know. There's kind of just a little bit inside of me that wants that so that I can go, oh yeah, let's watch
Yep.
what happens.
Yep. Well, isn't that fun though,
Yeah.
when you have that, because that for so many of us entrepreneurs and tech pros, that just to prove someone wrong that, you know what, I do have a good concept. I do have a good business model. I do have something, and I'm going to go to all, hours of the day to focus and create my craft to prove you wrong. It is awesome. It's awesome. It's why I'm in business.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I have seen so many technical professionals try to prove their boss wrong, right? Try to prove the customer wrong. When someone says, hey, this engineering feat can't be done, it's never been done before, it's impossible, then people stay up till all ends of the night. They will sacrifice all kinds of stuff in their life to get it. So now on your journey, once you achieved that dream, what made you decide, you know what, I want to jump into marketing? That sounds like something awesome.
Here's what's so fun about marketing. So in the snowboard world, it is a subjective sport. So I did the half pipe and the slope style where I did the jumps and the rails. And it's not a timed race. So it's a subjective sport. And what I found is when I was in the Midwest, I had a very powerful brand. The Korey McMahon brand had high value. Took a while to get there. Again, this is like pre-YouTube days. Mm-hmm. This is real early stages of internet and just how marketing was working. But, it was interesting. I learned at a young age how subjective the sport was and how just people's perceptions, like the judges, being good friends with the judges, can actually influence, and you can market yourself to get a better score. And so here's where my passion came. After snowboarding, I realized the value of personal branding. I learned the value of just marketing yourself, even to create sponsorships. Like, when working with Red Bull, I had to showcase my talent, showcase my brand to them to persuade them to sponsor me. So what was fun is after snowboarding, I got to work with Mountain Dew, and we did a lot of viral campaigns. We got to try and get actually some of our market share back from Red Bull, and this is where my passion in marketing started to really get ignited. Went back to school, got a marketing degree, and here's what's so fun about marketing. It's such a challenge. If marketing was easy, if it was so easy to accomplish, every business owner, every person on the planet would be billionaires. If we knew exactly how to sell and market a product, we'd all be filthy rich and we'd solve all the problems in the world. But that's not possible, and it's a huge challenge. Honestly, I cannot think of something that's more challenging than marketing. Just because there's so many things that go into it. It's just this constant challenge every single day when our team shows up to the office. That is our goal, is to crack that code for our clients to have success.
Awesome. I feel you, dude. Like, I have moved from technical career into management career, and now, just starting to dabble into the marketing aspects of starting a business. And I tell you, dude, if it's really, really tough for me, honestly, like, I'm being very vulnerable here, but it's really tough for me to get into the mindset of a marketer because I love producing, I love creating, I love doing, I love talking to people. But I don't know. For me personally, I kind of feel like an imposter. I feel like a schnoozy, snarky kind of bad guy for wanting to sell my services, sell my products, sell my sponsorships. And I know I shouldn't, right? But for me, that's the hardest part. What did you discover was the hardest part of marketing for you personally?
Oh, fantastic question. I think all of us go through what you're kind of experiencing and that you just kind of talked about, and even myself struggle with that. Of how do you price? In terms of some of the things that you do, how do you price that value that you offer? To me, your podcast and all your viewers, and like you said, you've got all these great fans and this huge audience base. You add so much value to them, and how do you price that accordingly? That's just a mental block that you need to get over. And I think so many of us struggle with that. And even in any business, to say, you know what, I want to increase my prices 1%. What would that do to our business? 2%. What would that do to your business? Well, how can you add more value to your customers to ensure that price increase, that they'll pay it? So I think to answer your question is, a lot of it is kind of that head trash, that you're self-limiting your goals, and you're self-limiting what value you bring. You start to question some of that, and I'm guilty of that same thing. Chapter 1 in my book, Bottom Line Marketing, is all about goal setting. This is where I'm so passionate about helping people in their personal journey to success, is having them create aggressive and just massive goals. And so we actually outline that process of how do you map out accomplishing those biggest goals. It's really interesting to get scientific with you all. There's actually a part in your brain called your reticular activating system, your RAS. And it's this function in your brain that is tremendously powerful and underutilized. So, for example, we've talked about the snowboarding. When you tell yourself you're going to accomplish some sort of goal, your brain will actually get really creative, and it will come up with unique ideas to help you accomplish that goal. It will actually think about that goal day in and day out. Every night while you're sleeping, your brain will actually come up with creative ways to accomplish your goals. So it's a fun process that we go through with our clients to help them think about where are they heading and what are these most amazing goals that they can go after, and we help map that process for them to accomplish them.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. I have not heard of this reticular activating system. It sounds like some sort of computer program that we've got up in our brain that kind of maps us out and helps us solve these problems, whether we're thinking about it or unconsciously. But I've heard other people, Korey, say, you know what, whatever your goal is, just 10x it. 10x your goal, and that way you're going to easily accomplish your goal, because your brain and activities and all your stress and everything about you is going to be focused on that 10 times goal, right? Do you feel that people are setting goals that are maybe too small or too easy to accomplish, and that's why it's maybe taking them too long to hit that goal?
Chad, that's such a great comment there. Yeah, try and 10x your goal. There's so many brilliant people that talk about this. You know, I was at an event the other day, the Billionaire Tour with Brad Sugars, and he said that same thing. He said, 30x your goal. Like you're thinking too small. Like you guys are thinking so small, and I'm a victim of that. I'm absolutely a victim of that myself. Of, here he is, self-made billionaire. He's telling you need to get out of your mindset. Like you said, 10x your goal. Hey, what's your goal? $1 million in revenue. Okay, how can we 10x that? What's so fun about when you do that, you really do think differently. You really get out of your comfort zone, and you have to hone in on really focusing on, how am I going to develop systems to scale, to grow like that. It's a great concept. I absolutely love your comment about that 10x your goals.
Okay, so then maybe take us back to that some of the lessons that you share in chapter 1 of your book about setting our goal. What's the right process to come up with a good goal that really challenges us but is also achievable at the same time?
Okay, this is a really simple concept. It's so easy. You just write this down or type this out on your device. Every goal you have has to be SMART. Mm-hmm. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Okay, I've got so many clients that say, I'm going to make more money. I want to make more money this year. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. It's so vague. It has to be, you need to say, I want to increase my revenue 10% each quarter. So it's got a specific goal. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. It's got to be relevant to whatever you're going after. It could be a personal, it could be a religious, it could be some sort of relevant thing that you're trying to go after. And then it's got to have some sort of time factor. Here's what's awesome about it. So let me give you an example where people just laughed in my face about a goal I came up with. Real simple. This is a few years ago. I told my wife, hey, I want to go on 10 vacations this year.
Nice.
And I was like, I know, right? I was like, I love travel. And I was like, yeah, I just opened up a marketing agency. I can take as much vacation as I want, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm a podcaster. I want to take 10 vacations this year, and I've only got like 4 months left to 3, 2. Oh my gosh, time is counting down. All right, how am I going to get all these vacations? Cool.
So people laughed at me. They're like, okay, yeah, right. Good luck, Korey. And again, that's the fuel. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Well, in December, when I was setting these goals, come to find out, my wife and I were pregnant. So instead of 12 months, I really only had about 6 months of travel. And so I'm like, oh gosh, the fear is setting in. People are right. I'm never going to accomplish this. But I said, nope. 10 vacations, that's the goal. I set my mind to it. Here's where it's fun. In January, proposal came across my desk it was the Hilton in Philadelphia. And I was going to just go do some sales training and do some LinkedIn training for their sales team. Mm-hmm. And I sign off on the contract and I'm about to send it in. And I pull it back. I go, whoa. This is the Hilton. Instead of one night stay, they have plenty of bedrooms, right? They got plenty. Let's make this 4 days. And instead of one airline ticket, let's put 2.
Nice.
Send it off, and they immediately send it back. They signed off on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is
free vacation.
Boom. Brilliant.
1 day of work and 3 more days of play with your wife.
That's exactly right. The Hilton is now funding my vacation. I did such a great job at that event. They referred me to Cabin Bluff in Georgia. So you get what I did, not one night, not one airline. And this time I got a little brave and I added 1 round of golf because one of my other goals was to golf in 30 states.
Nice.
So it creates this crazy trickle effect. Okay. 1 crazy goal, 10 vacations 1 year. In 6 months, we did it. 10 vacations, all paid for by other people, made a ton of money, traveled all around the nation. This concept of setting these big goals can be applied to your goals and the entrepreneurship journey you're going on. You guys, this is what's so fun about this. Chad, last year, 5 continents around the world, I got to go speak to tens of thousands of business owners about their entrepreneurship journey, them setting crazy goals, them getting out of their comfort zone. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun to go through that journey, to be able to set your goals and go after your dreams.
Okay, Korey, so in just a moment, I want to give you a proposal of a crazy, wild goal that just popped into my head right now, and see what you can do to say, yeah, this is real or not or whatever, because the goal is specific and it's measurable and it's time bound, but the problem is the clock is ticking and we've only got a few months left in the year, and I've got a really, really, I think, awesome, aggressive, crazy goal that just blows my mind thinking about it, and I want to get your opinion in just a moment. But first, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. Is your website ugly? I mean, really ugly? Did your website fall out of the ugly source code repo and hit every branch on the way down? Is your website so ugly that Apple won't display it in Safari due to their human interface guidelines? Is your website so ugly that your CSS has no style? Is your website so ugly that even your mama won't bookmark it? I know a lot about ugly websites because, sadly, I've been building them my entire career. I've always made excuses like, it should be the functionality over the design. But what I should have been saying all along is, look, I'm colorblind, I'm style challenged, and I have no business building web front ends whatsoever. Luckily, I've worked with some amazing designers that have helped turn my MVP OS, or minimum viable piece of into websites that real humans want to use. And it's not just about complementary colors and rad logo designs. It's about connecting with your website visitors on an emotional level that engages the stickiness centers in their brain and makes them more curious to read about your products and then follow your call to actions. I invite you to check out the awesome tips that website designer Veronica Curran gave me for the Hello Tech Pros website and get your free personalized website makeover consultation video by visiting hellougly.site.com. Hello Ugly Site is definitely ugly, but your website doesn't have to be. Go to hellougly.site.com. That's hellougly.site.com. Since publishing episode 141 on how social anxiety disorder and depression nearly cost me my life, I've gotten tons of feedback from people who are struggling with similar issues. Anxiety is a big deal. In my opinion, it's not discussed enough, especially in the tech industry, where a lot of us hide from our anxieties behind the computer screen instead of learning how to address them. That's why I started writing a book on the subject. If you are struggling with anxiety or know someone who is, please visit anxietynerd.com. You can sign up to read Chapter 1 for free, as well as receive regular progress details so that you can hold me accountable to get this book published. anxietynerd.com. Okay, we're back with Korey McMahon. Korey is a previous awesome professional freestyle snowboarder, ranked number 2 in the nation in the United States, worked with amazing brands such as Mountain Dew and Red Bull, and he joined the world of marketing because it's a hard business. And Korey likes doing really hard work, and he loves setting really hard goals that just sound crazy to mere mortals like you and I. And for instance, I want to go on 10 vacations this year. And that sounds like, really? I would like to go on 1 vacation this year. That sounds good enough to me. But no, Korey's like, I want to 10x that. I want to go on 10 vacations this year. And then when it happens, when opportunities come up, he starts taking advantage of it and he starts snowballing it. See what I did there? No pun intended. Okay. That was horrible. That was bad. Anyway, he starts really rocking out his goals. And so what can we do to really step up our goals? So Korey, I got a goal for you, or I got a goal for me that maybe you can give me some advice or thoughts on. So this popped into my head just a second ago as you were telling that story. I want to 100x my 2016 revenue, the revenue that I've made so far this year in 2016 with the Hello Tech Pros brand. I want to 100x that by the end of 2016. Does that sound absolutely amazing and crazy and stupid, or does that sound like doable?
Well, here's what you got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I want.
So here's where it starts. It starts with that passion. Yeah. We talk about success, and what does success look like? I just spoke at three conferences last week, and on Friday we're talking about specifically the concept of success. Here's what we have to define first: is what does success look like to you? You have to address it yourself, because success will look like something different to everybody. I've got one really simple measure of success for being a father. It's that I will drop my child off every day at her daycare. Today I stayed home. I stayed home late this morning. Spent the morning with my daughter and walked her down. Actually, our grandparents just live down the street, and so she's staying at grandma's house today. That's success to me, is that I stayed home and I was intentional with my time with my daughter. So that relates to my personal life. You ask, I want to 100x my revenue. Love it. It's specific. It's measurable. Is it attainable? This is where it's awesome that you have this goal. Hell yeah, it's attainable. Okay, but that's where the magic of your RAS, your reticular activating system, will help you. Is it relevant? Yes, it is, and it's timely. You've got all of the attributes to making this goal a reality. Now, here's going to be your challenge. You need to want this. You really need to want this. Here's what I would do. I would literally create like a Post-it note. I'd put that Post-it note on your computer screen, 100x revenue. I'd take that Post-it note, I'd put it by the front door when you leave the house every day, 100x revenue. I'd put that reminder in your cell phone, 100x revenue. Surround yourself with this, because here's what's going to happen. You are going to strategically start thinking huge ideas. You're going to start thinking big ideas. How can I scale this business? And it's going to be magical. It's the first step is just you writing down that goal and surrounding yourself with it. And I think you're going to be very amazed with what's going to happen in 2017 with your business.
Awesome. Pretty amazing stuff. So just the fact that I'm kind of surrounding myself by reaffirming this goal over and over and over in my head, that you're saying, Korey, that my head is going to start solving some of the issues or the roadblocks or the obstacles for me, right? So right now it's like, okay, how do I go about this? I have no idea how to go about this, but my brain will figure it out. The more I focus on it, that ideas and opportunities are just going to come up.
It's amazing. Yes, literally yes. Harvard did this study. People that write down their goals, just writing them down, outperform those that don't 10 to 1. So it's just like just writing them down, you're going to like 10x people like all day long. You're just going to start crushing people. But if you're really passionate and you really focus on this stuff, it's amazing how you start thinking, how you start behaving. Because here's what's really fun. People have asked me so many times, what do successful people do that make them so successful? Well, what do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common? It's that neither of them likes what it takes to be successful. Because none of us like making 10 extra cold calls every day. None of us like to get up. And, when I ran a marathon this year, I did not enjoy waking up at 4 a.m. every single day in the freezing winter cold and the windy Oklahoma wind down here is just brutal. Mm-hmm. I did not like what it took to be successful. But it's the successful people, they just do it anyways. It comes down to the simple choices that they make every single day, getting out of bed at 3:45 in the morning. And by doing this repeatedly over and over for 4 months, my choices created behaviors. My behaviors started becoming my habit. I now wake up so early. We call it the 5 a.m. club. We're usually up so early, crushing it. By the time 8 o'clock comes around, we've already accomplished more than what most people will do in a day. It's those choices that you make That creates your behaviors. That becomes your habits. So tying that all up in a nice little bow, you start thinking on a different level. You start behaving differently. It will start creating new habits. And all of a sudden, this compounding effect, Darren Hardy's got a fantastic book, The Compounding Effect, creates this huge momentum, and you start crushing your goals, and your life looks unimaginable, literally in a year's time.
Dude, that's absolutely amazing. And I feel you on the marathon side. It is a ton of work. I ran my first marathon. I completed my first marathon in January of this year, January 2016.
Congrats.
And it was, thank you. I'm from Oklahoma, and I moved out here to the East Coast, to Florida, last year, about March of 2015. And when I did, I gave up all my soccer buddies, on my soccer group, and because I wasn't playing soccer, then I wasn't running, and so I struggled with, like, I'm getting out of shape, I'm falling apart, like I'm feeling bad, I don't have any energy, I need to get back into it, but I didn't have any reason, any goal to go out and start running. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to sign up for the Disney Marathon, and I'm going to give it a shot. And that required so much effort. I mean, if the listeners, if you've never done that kind of distance running, you think about, okay, I got to run 26.2 miles to complete a marathon. No, you do not run 26.2 miles. You run 500 miles to complete a marathon, because of all the training, like Korey was saying, at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, or 3 times a week, or whatever your training regimen is, to get to the point where you can successfully run a 26.2 marathon. There's so much work that goes into it before you do the day of the race, right? And what I hear you saying is, excuse me, business is a lot like that, right? It's not just, what do I need to do to accomplish this goal at the end and like get the big payout, the big reward, the big paycheck or whatever, but like, what are all the little things throughout the week that I need to be doing that sucks? I need to be doing cold calls. Like, I need to be reaching out to people. I need to be networking. I need to be whatever it is that we need to be doing. We need to just face that and do it anyway, even though it does suck, even though it is painful. And through that process, we will, those choices will create the behaviors will create habits, and those habits will lead to the success of our goals.
Nailed it.
Boom. Boom, mic drop. So, Korey, I will let you have the last word in this conversation. So, could you sum it up with any final words of wisdom that you have for our audience, the best way that we can connect with you and share our 100X goals, and then we'll say goodbye.
Awesome. First thing is how to connect with us. Go ahead. It's McMahon Marketing. Check us out on social media. One of the best things, really, though, is our blog on our website. We really try to add value to our target audience, business owners, sales professionals. So definitely check that out. A lot of resources for you to have. And then one little tip for today. I think it's been an interesting conversation. I've really enjoyed our time today. I think I'm going to leave you with, so many of us entrepreneurs and business owners, we're visible. We're very visible. We're in the public eye. Again, with marketing and social media, we're everywhere. I think the thing that I want to stress today is it's all about what you're doing when no one's watching. It's all about, what are you doing behind the scenes to further your education, to further your personal life, your professional life. What are you doing behind closed curtains? Are you truly focused on your 100x revenue goal? Are you grinding, outside of normal work hours to make that happen? So what are you doing when no one's watching? I think that's an incredible, powerful message that relates to what we've kind of talked about today. It can inspire you, but also it might hit you in the gut, and it might tell you that you might need to tweak what you're doing to focus and to accomplish and be successful on the goals that you have set out for yourself.
Korey, thank you so much for joining me on Hello Tech Pros today. I really value this conversation because it's like a wake-up call for some of the things that I need to be doing. I know that there's a lot of hard work that is uncomfortable for me. You know, for the listeners out there who don't know my story, struggling with social anxiety all of my life, it's been a slow evolutionary process to get to the point where I could launch a podcast and I could invite strangers on the show and say, "Hey, Korey, we've never met before, but I would love to talk to you and love to get your thoughts on business and technology and life." And that in and of itself has been a huge goal. I mean, I have absolutely dominated that goal. I wanted to meet at least 100 new people on this podcast. We're now recording, Korey, episode 237. So I've crushed that one. I've crushed that particular goal. But on the revenue side, there's still a lot of things that I have felt uncomfortable with over just my life that I need to get over. And this is great information and like a call to action for me to, just jump in front of that stuff. And like you said, even if it sucks, even if we don't like it, to do it anyway. So I really appreciate you sharing that message with me today.
Well, I appreciate your time, Chad, as well. And I appreciate all the listeners' time today. You guys enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely. Tech Pros, what is your 100x goal? If it's not a 100x goal, just what is your goal? What is your SMART goal that you would like to accomplish? I would love to help you, hold you accountable to that. So send me an email, chad@hellotechpros.com. Go to the show notes page here at hellotechpros.com/237. Maybe leave a note for Korey and I and say, hey, my personal goal, my business goal, my financial goal, my family goal, whatever it is, just kind of drop a line. I would love to hear from you and check back later and hold you accountable and say, hey, you said that you wanted to do this. What are you doing to make it happen? You've been listening to Korey McMahon, and I'm Chad Bostic. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/235. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack.